Howdy y'all, and welcome to Lex Lives. I think it's time we play a little 7 Days to Die. So I just got back from doing a quest to clear out a place, which I did, and now I gotta wait a few minutes here, a few game minutes, for the trader to open. Um, so I still have the flu. It's not doing a good job of going away. I don't get flu shots, so I didn't realize this was the flu until I read a description of the symptoms of the flu, and yeah, I'm pretty sure I've got the flu. I've been calling it a cold, and I thought it was like separate things that were happening to me, but pretty sure I've had the flu going off and on for a few weeks now. Like it'll go away for a few days, and then I'll get it again. So I've probably had both strains of the flu this winter, and yeah, and so I feel like I'm at the edge of it. I'm a little hoarse still. I'm not coughing so much today. A little bit, but not a lot. And throat's a little just on the edge of sore. So I don't know. I'm hoping. So this isn't the show I would normally record today, but I wanted to chit chat a little bit about some stuff. And I don't really do that kind of chit chatting in Better Than Wolves. So here we are on 7 Days to Die. I want to chit chat about movies. I got a couple of things I want to talk about. And so hold on, I'm going to get a little drink of tea here. First thing I want to talk about is Parasite. Won Best Picture. I've seen it. I didn't think it was that good. I don't think Best Picture is a great category anyways. Most of the time, whatever wins Best Picture, I don't think is the best picture I've seen that year. I know it's a weird, like they have to be recommended, and so it's not like people are writing down the best picture of the season because they've seen 100 movies. It's I really like this movie. This is my suggestion. The small group who get to decide should take a look at these. I think it's like 8 movies, and then they decide between those 8 movies. I've not seen all 8 of the movies. I've only seen 3 of the movies. I've seen The Joker, which I thought was pretty good. I've seen Parasite, which I thought was mediocre, and I've seen The Irishman, which I thought was long and boring. And so of those 3, I would have to pick The Joker. Um, I thought the Joker was a pretty good portrayal of um, mental health issues, I guess, and it's a bizarre movie, but I'm also a DC fan, so the Joker is one of my favorite bad guys. I thought it was a pretty fun alternate view of how the Joker could have been. So I am tinged a little from my like of DC. Parasite, though, was not a special movie, and I don't understand why people think it is. I mean, it's fine that they think it is. Don't get me wrong. Everybody's entitled to their opinion. My opinion is different than theirs, obviously, but so many people are saying it's like the best thing they've ever seen. It's not even a unique premise. I don't understand. It's just a movie about poor people pretending to be other people to get jobs at rich people's house. I've seen this movie before. I couldn't give you the name of it, but I've seen this premise at least a half a dozen times before this. It wasn't that great. I don't understand. The movie is literally they con the rich family, they get the staff fired so that their family can take over the positions in the house. Oh, spoilers, by the way. They take over the position of college entrance exam tutor, art tutor for the youngest son, housekeeper, and driver. And it's not a movie where they're going to steal from the family. They just wanted jobs. And so they conned their way into these jobs. And then the twist
Greetings, stranger.
is
Got some
that
skills and Navisgate. Here you go, friend. Whatever you need,
the
just say the word.
housekeeper who they ooh, I love the silencer on my thing. The housekeeper who used to work there that they got fired was keeping her husband in an underground shelter that the family didn't know about. And so when the rich family when the rich
Gratitude
family
and
went
safe travels, friend.
away for the weekend, and the poor
I could
family
really you the man.
stayed without permission at the place, and she shows up, and the housekeeper gets them to let her in the house because she forgot something, and the thing she forgot was her husband. Um, and so man, I really need to go home. Oh, and that is way to the north of me. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go home first. And so they accidentally wind up killing the housekeeper, and then their apartment floods, and then uh, and then they come back for a party, and then I think the poor son decides he's gonna kill the housekeeper and her husband. And when he goes down into the shelter where they're hiding, the housekeeper has died from a blow to the head she took, and so the husband has chewed his way free from where they taped him up, and he bashes the kid in the head with the rock that the kid brought to, I guess, bash them in the head, and then takes a butcher knife, stabs the poor daughter. Um, the poor mother kills that guy, and then this is the really weird part that I don't understand. They mentioned that the poor father smells bad a couple of times, and when the rich father holds his nose while moving the dead body to get the keys so he can take the his son to the hospital at the end of the movie, and the keys are under the body of the the previous housekeeper's husband, after he is killed by the poor mother. Um, he holds his nose, and so the poor father, snaps because he's tired of that rich guy. The four times he mentioned it in the movie, talking about how poor people smell bad, and so he pulls a knife and stabs him, and then he hides in the shelter, and then the movie ends with the poor son who survived, figuring out that his father's in the shelter and deciding that he's going to become rich someday and buy the house so that he can get his father out of the shelter. That was the movie, and I don't like hiding in the shelter. Um, wasn't wasn't something I necessarily have. No, I've seen that before. Yeah, there's pretty much nothing happened in this movie that I haven't seen in some form in another movie that was the same story. I don't get it. I don't get why this this is Best Picture. I didn't think it was that good. Um, but yeah, I did think I liked it better than The Irishman, which I finished watching finally. It took me a while because it's a super long, boring movie. Um, I don't know what happened there. I get that it's Scorsese, right? But tell you what it feels like is it's like all these dudes that are in the Irishman are pretty old now. I mean, it's Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, um, uh, uh, the dude from Raymond. They're all getting up there, and so this movie to me felt like their last big hurrah to make a because they're all pretty famous for being in like gangster movies and stuff, and so this was like their last big hurrah. And so it is literally a movie about an old guy telling his life story about he. It's based off of true events, and but man, it was slow and way too long, and it was like listening to an old guy meander his way through his life story. Uh, is what it amounted to, and I was not impressed. I was not impressed. I It wasn't even a great story. It was slow. It was so slow. Like it didn't focus on. It didn't. It's kind of about Jimmy Hoffa. Um, and so this guy that focuses on right is the. I'm not gonna get into this movie, but it kind of focuses on the guy who may have killed Jimmy Hoffa. Right, that's what it's about. And uh, but it was really, really like super long. Like I felt like it started in 1947 in real life, and I just got done with it now in 2020. Um, it wasn't exciting. He wasn't an exciting guy. There's a few scenes where they like kill people, but it's like he gets a phone call. He's told to deal with the guy. He gets a gun. He walks into the place. He shoots the guy. He walks out. He throws the gun in the river. That's it. I mean, it's that's it. There's nothing special. There's no big lead up. Nothing. It just happens, and then it's over, and then they move on to the next little snippet. And I'm just like, whew, this is an awful long movie for me to have to sit through all this. Um, but luckily it's on Netflix, so I could watch it in bits and pieces. And so, yeah, it was okay. It wasn't great. I'm not ever gonna watch it again because it wasn't good enough to want to watch again. Like The Godfather, right? That's a long, long movie, but it's good and it tells a good, cohesive, beginning to end storyline. This was little bits and pieces, and little bits and pieces don't make a great storyline. I actually feel like a lot of modern films are bits and pieces, and they've given up on storylines, and it makes me not like movies. And But yeah. So, anyways, Parasite. I don't think it deserved Best Picture. I haven't seen all the other movies. Let me just bring up the list. Oscar nominations. Um. Oh yeah. Okay. Oscar nominations, Best Picture. All right. Ford versus Ferrari. Haven't seen it. Irishman. Watch it. Jojo Rabbit seems like not my kind of thing. Joker. I liked. Little Women. I have not seen. I haven't seen Marriage Story either. I didn't know that was nominated. That's on Netflix. 1917's World War One movie. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. I haven't seen that yet either. Which is Tarantino, and then Parasite, and yeah, yeah, not really a great list. Like the thing is, though, is the Oscars are like not even the kinds of movies that I would normally watch, right? Uh, uh, they're like, oh, I need to build a workbench here. 25 forged iron, 20 mechanical parts. A claw hammer. I do not have a claw hammer. I do have a claw hammer, I lied. I do have 20 mechanical parts. I do not have 20 forged iron. Was it 20 or 25? I'll just do 25 to make sure. Um, anyways, so yeah, so that's Parasite. I didn't like it. I didn't hate it. I didn't dislike it, but I didn't like it either. The other movie I wanted to talk about is Birds of Prey. Like I said, maybe I said I don't remember. I'm a fan of DC. Birds of Prey is a DC movie. It's Harley Quinn from Harley Quinn the Joker. There's Detective Montoya, who's a fairly prominent police detective in Gotham PD in the Batman comics. All the Batman comics, like Batgirl, Nightwing, all that stuff. Black Canary is a fairly prominent superhero. She doesn't have her own comic usually, since I've been reading for like 8 years now, 9 years, however long I've been reading all the DC comics. But she's been paired up with Green Arrow for a long time, so I'm pretty familiar with her. And the Huntress, who I am familiar with, she pops in and out of the comics from time to time, mostly with the Batman stuff. Um, and so that group make up the Birds of Prey in this film, and it's really a Harley Quinn movie with the Birds of Prey thrown in at the end. And so a little spoiler for the movie, but what the movie's about is there's a diamond, and the diamond has the codes to the bank accounts of a family of mobsters that were killed, like crime bosses, the Bertinellis, and so like the Huntress, she is the last of the Bertinellis, and she has returned to seek her revenge. But what happens is in the movie, a pickpocket steals the diamond from uh, the Black Mask, who is this crazy rich guy who hides his identity with a black mask. Although everybody knows who he is, so I don't know. Uh, but it's mostly about Harley Quinn and the pickpocket, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty fun. If you like comic book movies, it's a little dark. It's definitely rated R. There's a lot of killing and stuff, and but the thing I wanted to talk about was this. I've seen people complaining because the costumes are different. I've seen people complaining because the Black Canary in the comics is a white woman with blonde hair, and the actress they chose is a black woman. I don't see where that's even a big deal. I don't know. Dinah Lance being white or black or whatever doesn't make any difference. What costumes they wear doesn't really make a lot of difference. As long as you keep the important facts going. Dinah Lance does not have a great backstory, and it changes a lot, and there's a lot of different versions of her. So we don't even know if this Dinah Lance is supposed to be the one from the comics or if she's the maybe the daughter. I got the feeling that she's supposed to be the daughter of the one from the comics, from some comments they made. And uh, either way, it doesn't matter to me. It does not matter. I don't understand why people think that matters. It doesn't matter. Oh shoot, that said it was growing, not that it was ready to be harvested. Uh, okay, let's put you back. Sorry about that, little corn. Was just trying to harvest my plants while I wait for my workbench to get done here. So yeah, so I don't have a problem with those things. I don't understand why people do. It's not a big deal. Because, and this is why it's not a big deal, she's still a Black Canary. She still fights really good and has a super ability where she screams and it can kill you. Uh, like she screams and people get flung through the air and stuff like that, right? That's the root of Black Canary. She's a really good hand-to-hand fighter, and she has the Canary Cry. Both of those things are in there. Anything else is just superficial. However, uh, so Harley Quinn is basically Harley Quinn, and they had some stuff from the comics, and this infuriates me a little bit. All right, so I've seen comments about how they tried really hard to bring in stuff from the comics, and they tried really hard to keep their characters, on par with what's in the comics. Not identical, and that's fine. You gotta figure every version of a character is a different version, right? They make this movie. It's not going to be the Birds of Prey from the comics. It's a different version of them, but it should still be them. And so, Black Canary fights real well. Canary Cry, name's Dinah Lance, all fits. Harley Quinn goes through her history in the movie. It all fits. Little different change from her current one of her. I don't know. Like I said, every time they turn around, they change these characters' stories. Um, but so they give Harley Quinn's life history in this movie, and it fits. Right, psychiatrist, worked at Arkham, fell in love with the Joker, freed him, threw herself into a chemical vat or got pushed in, whatever, to become Harley Quinn. Uh, that works. That's what happened. That's what she is. She's crazy. She's violent. That's Harley Quinn. Um, Detective Montoya. Little different version in this one. I don't think I've ever seen her this old. And I mean, she's not like old, but she's what, in her 40s, probably in this movie. And so I don't think I've ever seen her in her 40s. Usually she's in her 20s or 30s. But everything about her was pretty much Detective Montoya, or a version of Detective Montoya I've seen before. So nothing really, no big changes there. It all fit. And awesome. I got my own workbench now. And, I was happy with that. And then the Huntress. It's not my favorite version of the Huntress, but I forget what her name is. Bertinelli, something Bertinelli. That's a version of the Huntress that's in the comics. She used her crossbow. She dressed in the purple. It's the Huntress, right? I mean, it's exactly what she should be. And my favorite version of the Huntress is the daughter of Batman and Catwoman. Uh, uh, but she's from an alternate Earth, so she doesn't get a lot of comic book time. And so then I'm missing someone, right? There are four of them. There's Huntress. Oh no, Huntress, Black Canary, Montoya, and Harley Quinn. Right, those four. Um, so that's fine. All of that was fine. It was very much who they were supposed to be. And I never saw, and I even looked. I could not find an article where someone complained about this, but this infuriated me. Infuriated. The pickpocket who stole the diamond is Cassandra Cain. Maybe it's because she's not that well known of a character. I mean, if you read the comics, she's well known, but she's never really been out there, you know. It's like maybe you're aware of who Stephanie Brown is, but probably not. Uh, so you probably don't know Cassandra Cain, and I do though. And Cassandra Cain is one of my favorite characters. And I just don't understand why she's a pickpocket. Cassandra Cain is okay. So if you know anything about Batman, you know who Ra's al Ghul is. So Ra's al Ghul. I mean, you might not know specifics of Ra's al Ghul, but you're aware that Ra's al Ghul is a major bad guy in the Batman universe. And if you've seen like the Christian Bale movies, Ra's al Ghul was the main bad guy in the. I can't get up this hill. Was the main bad guy in the Dark Knight Rises, Batman Begins, Batman Begins, and so he's had a big movie presence in recent history. He runs an organization called the League of Assassins, and maybe I don't know. It varies from story to story. Um, but the League of Assassins has this woman in it named Lady Shiva, and she is considered one of the deadliest assassins in the world. And so this other guy, shoot, I was going to look up what his name is. I can never remember what it is. But he decided he wanted to create the ultimate assassin. And so he's also an assassin, but he's not part of the League of Assassins. And so he hires Lady Shiva to be the mother to his child. And so Lady Shiva has Cassandra Cain. And then he takes Cassandra, and she is raised without or with minimal human contact and no ability to speak. She's never talked to. And so he wants her only language to be violence. And so he trains her and he brings in trainers and she only knows fighting. And then Batman rescues her and she becomes Cassandra Cain. I mean her last name is actually Cain and her name is Cassandra. But she becomes I forget what she used to be called, but she's called the Orphan now. She had a different name before, but I don't remember what her previous story was. 8 years ago, she had a different name than Orphan. But so she's one of my favorite characters. She is so strong in martial arts that even though she's a teenage girl, she's strong enough to take down Batman in combat. Uh, she is trained to kill. She chooses not to. And she's Batgirl at one point. And so her current character is called Orphan. She's basically Batgirl, except there's already a Batgirl. And so one of my favorite characters. And this movie has a girl who's a streetwise pickpocket and foster care who steals a diamond and then teams up with Harley Quinn. And no one even bats an eye. They're angry because they changed Black Canary's outfit. Cassandra Cain's not even the same character. She's not even the same character. So I enjoyed the movie. I just ignored that they were calling that girl Cassandra Cain. Because she's not even the same character. I don't understand. I'd be like, I'm having a Batman movie, but you know what? I'm gonna have Joe Chill be Batman, and he's gonna have this kid who runs around with him. We're not gonna call him Robin though. We're gonna call him Bluebird, and his name is Bruce Wayne. And you'd be like, "What? You got a Batman movie that's not Bruce Wayne? What?" In fact, he's not even a fighter. He's just a straight A student at school. That's it. You don't even see him. He's the mascot at the Gotham Bluebirds. There we go. That's Bruce Wayne. Um, and then he just accidentally tags along with these guys, but he doesn't know anything about fighting or any of that stuff. And he never becomes Batman. He's just this kid. Uh, but that's not Bruce Wayne. That's not Batman. Joe Chill is possibly one of the people that killed Bruce Wayne's parents. That's why I said Joe Chill. And yeah, I don't get it. I don't get it. Why is Cassandra Cain a pickpocket? There are pickpocket characters in the DC universe. You could have just called her something. They basically just took a name out of the comics and used that for the show, not caring if she matched what she's supposed to be in the comic or not. There's no way there's no way that girl in foster care who's a pickpocket was ever the world's deadliest assassin ever, or had the potential to be. Ever. Not happening. I don't understand. Well, my rage has induced some coughing here, so I am going to end the episode here. But yeah, Parasite. Okay movie. Don't understand why everybody thinks it's amazing. Birds of Prey. Thought it was fun. Just wish that Cassandra Cain was actually Cassandra Cain. She's one of my favorite characters, and they always seem to be treating her like crap. I don't understand why. Um, and the Irishman is long and boring. So, click like if you like, subscribe and catch the next one, and I will talk to you later.